The system had declared my mission a failure. It ordered me to end my own life. I started trying every method I could imagine to kill myself and escape this world. Yet the very people who had once despised and cast me aside, upon witnessing my repeated suicide attempts, experienced a sudden change of heart, desperately begging me to remain. After a car accident, I had been reborn into the mission world. The system had assigned me 4 female targets. It told me that if I could successfully win over just one of them, I would be resurrected in my original world. Yet after 25 fleeting years, I had somehow failed to win over even a single one. Perhaps this was simply my fate. God was not willing to grant me a second chance at life. I turned away in despair and stepped onto the overpass, merging into the endless flow of traffic. The system's command looped endlessly in my ears. Mission failed. Please terminate yourself. Host. A car sped past me. My mind flashed with images from all those years, their cold, hateful faces. Every one of their hearts, without exception, had been captured by Liam Vance. All because he was the protagonist of this world, a man who radiated a dazzling light. The system had once tried to console me, saying it was a fundamental law that the protagonist's pull on the female leads was irresistible. I looked up at the blue sky. A storm of emotions churned inside me. Was I truly destined never to find true love, simply because I was a side character in this world? I smiled bitterly. Since the ending was already written, what was the point of struggling? I closed my eyes and stepped resolutely into the flow of cars. Just then, a piercing shriek of brakes tore through the air. It was followed by an angry shout. James, if you're going to die, do not do it here and block everyone. I opened my eyes to see the furious face of my sister, Julia Harris. Julia was one of the targets the system had assigned. It had told me that if I could maximize her familial affection stat, the mission would be deemed a success. She was the very first target I had tried to win over. But fate is a cruel thing. She, too, had eventually been captivated by Liam Vance's charm. And because of a single lie he told, she had come to despise my very existence. She roughly dragged me into her car, sped to the riverbank, shoved me out, and slapped me hard across the face. If you want to die, find some deserted place. Do not drag innocent people into it. I even picked out this nice spot for you, so hurry up and jump. Her voice dripped with disgust and impatience. I was so dizzy I could barely remain standing. In the past, I had attempted suicide in front of her many times, just to earn a shred of her pity, a moment of her attention. But I had never truly wanted to die. Now she thought I was just pulling the same old stunt, convinced I would not actually go through with it. Julia, why are you here? I managed to steady myself. My voice was laced with a bitterness I could not hide. Are you not supposed to be at Liam Vance's wedding? Did you come looking for me? I looked up at her, a faint flicker of hope still alive in my heart, wishing she would be different this time, hoping she would show just the tiniest bit of reluctance to lose me. But her next words mercilessly shattered my illusion. In your dreams, you think you are worthy of that? I was on my way to pick up Liam's suit for the reception. Who knew I would run into a jinx like you? I am warning you, James. Do not even think about using these tricks to gain my sympathy. I looked at her determined expression and gave a bitter internal smile. I had actually thought she had followed me because she was worried I was in trouble. I should have known all along. My sister is deeply in love with Liam Vance, his most devoted follower, but his heart belongs to Isabella Russo. That is why she is willing to watch him marry another woman, even running errands for his wedding. Such devotion was truly pathetic. I had nothing left to say, so I just turned and walked step by step toward the river's edge. Julia probably thought I was just trying to scare her, so she stood on the bank and sneered, "Go on, walk faster. Stop dragging your feet. If you want to die, then get on with it. Do not make me late to pick up the suit." I quickened my pace, letting the river gradually swallow my body until I was completely submerged. The icy water flooded my mouth and nose, and I felt myself suffocating. Maybe finally I could be free. But in that instant, a powerful force yanked me upward. With a sharp crack, Julia slapped me again. "You son of a bitch. You actually dared to do it, James. Who gave you the nerve?" She cursed at me while dragging me back to the shore. "Let me tell you something. Mom and Dad gave you your life. You do not have the right to just throw it away. My mother is the best person to me in this entire world, and I could not bear to leave her. I had already held on for 25 long years, but now I was just so tired. I just wanted to leave. After this failed attempt, I had no choice but to make an excuse and head home for the time being. She yelled after me, "So what if Isabella Russo got married? Is it really worth all this? If you truly love someone, you should want them to be happy with the person they truly love. That is what real love is." I was never in despair over Isabella Russo. I only got close to her because I was trying to survive. I found a deserted city park. I bought an extremely sturdy rope. I had to do it outside. After all, my mother was at home, and I was afraid she would be terrified if she saw me like that. I tied the rope securely to a thick branch, stepped onto a rock I had placed, and prepared to end everything, staring at the rope that was about to end my life. I let out a bitter laugh. I had spent 25 years in this world. It did not feel long. It was like the blink of an eye, but it was not short either. So much had happened. At first, Julia did not like having a younger brother. She was afraid my arrival would divide our parents' affection for her. I faced so many obstacles trying to get close to her, but I was convinced that if I was sincere, she would eventually accept me. When we were kids, I would skip lunch to save my allowance just to buy her the gift she wanted. Whenever she got into trouble, I would step up and take the blame without a second thought. When she fell ill late one night, I was the one who ran out in the pouring rain to find a doctor, staying by her side all night. That expensive handbag she desperately wanted. I spent my entire summer working a part-time job just to buy it for her. Slowly, I felt her attitude toward me begin to soften. The scales of sisterly affection seemed to be tipping in my favor. But just when I thought I was on the verge of success, Liam Vance showed up. He effortlessly destroyed the relationship I had spent years building. Whatever, I will just treat these last 25 years as nothing more than a dream. I stepped onto the rock and slipped the noose around my neck. The feeling of suffocation and the raw, scraping pain on my neck quickly consumed me. I could not stop myself from struggling, but I tried to stay quiet so I would not alarm anyone. All right, I even left a note, hoping it would lessen the shock for whoever found me. It said, "Do not be afraid. I am the brightest star in the night sky now." My consciousness began to fade. Memories of the past flashed before my eyes like a movie reel. No matter how hard I tried, Liam Vance could always take everything from me with ease. Everyone seemed to adore him, while they all just detested me. Just as I felt myself about to die, a pair of arms suddenly wrapped around me, holding me tight. I greedily gasped for the air that filled my lungs again. "James, have you lost your mind?" Standing before me was Dr. Evelyn Reynolds, my former psychiatrist, who was 5 years older than me. She was also one of my former targets. After I was diagnosed with depression, I had started to get better under her care back then. The system had prompted me to try and win her over. So I invested a huge amount of time and energy into being with her. We had dinners together, went to art galleries, visited amusement parks. She even took me to her family's old estate in the countryside, telling me I was the first man she had ever brought there. Her affection for me grew each day, and I thought this time I was finally going to succeed. But then Liam Vance appeared again. He cried to Evelyn right in front of me, "Dr. Reynolds, James hired people to assault me. I cannot go to the police. I have nightmares every single night. I honestly just want to die." And just like that, Evelyn took his side without a moment's hesitation, pushing me away. She held Liam Vance in a comforting embrace. "Do not be afraid," she said. "I am here for you." That day, her eyes bloodshot, she screamed at me to get out. She said my depression was just an act to gain her sympathy. She said I disgusted her. And just like that, another one of my efforts turned to dust. It was almost laughable. 2 suicide attempts in one day, and both times I was found by one of the women I had tried so desperately to win over. Is the world really this small? Should you not be at Liam Vance's wedding right now? My voice was devoid of any emotion as I stared at her with empty eyes. She had such a gentle face and a soft voice. She always treated people with so much kindness and care. That was why she was the one who had led me out of my depression. And yet she was also the one who personally shoved me into an even deeper abyss of despair. "I am in a bad mood. Can I not come out for some fresh air?" She frowned, her face etched with impatience. That was right. She was also in love with Liam Vance. She had even given up a chance to study abroad for him. With Liam getting married today, of course she would not be in a good mood. But you, what are you doing trying to kill yourself here? Or did you deliberately pick this spot, hoping I would find you and feel sorry for you? James, can you please stop faking your depression in front of me? Try a different act for a change. I listened to her words, my heart completely still. I had heard words like these so many times before. She always accused me of faking my depression. But the pain was excruciatingly real. She is a doctor, for God's sake. Why could she not see that my depression was real? Does not being loved mean that everything I do, my very existence, is a mistake? I said nothing and got up to leave, already planning my next suicide method in my head. Maybe it was because she had never seen me so utterly broken. But Evelyn seemed to sense something was truly wrong. She grabbed my arm and pulled me back to her apartment. Then she called Julia and told her to come get me. Julia rushed over with Isabella Russo and Liam Vance trailing behind her. When Liam Vance saw me, a flicker of terror crossed his eyes, and he instinctively hid behind Isabella. Isabella stared at me coldly. "James, do you really have to put on such a show just to make us feel sorry for you? Today is my wedding to Liam. Did you have to come and ruin it? Have you not heard him enough already?" Every single one of them was convinced I had some ulterior motive, that I was trying to hurt Liam. I slowly lifted my head and scanned the face of every person in the room. Their faces showed nothing but bone-chilling indifference and a profound disgust for me. I let out a small laugh. What if I told you it was Liam who hurt me? He was the one who hired people to assault me. The color drained from Liam's face instantly. A flicker of surprise passed through the other's eyes as well. I did not. "James, why are you framing me? You were the one who ruined me." Liam's voice trembled, tears welling in his eyes as he tried to win their sympathy with his usual victim act. They always fell for it. "That is enough, James," Julia snapped. "You're still bleeding. You are the one in the wrong, and you are still spouting lies. Apologize to Liam right now," Evelyn added angrily. "James, I suggest you apologize to Liam immediately." As for Isabella, she did not even bother to look at me. Her entire focus was on comforting Liam. Maybe Liam really did have some kind of magic, some protagonist halo. Because no matter what he said, they believed him without question. His words were always treated as truth, while mine, even when they were the truth, were dismissed as lies. He was always the innocent one, and I was always the villain. Looking at them, spewing venom at me with such utter disgust. My entire 25-year life felt like a complete joke. I had tortured myself countless times for this worthless life. And now I was just exhausted. Death really might be a release. I tried to break free from their grip, but they held me fast. Trying to run? What are you planning now? Another trick to frame Liam? Julia glared at me. "Let me tell you, you are staying right here. Evelyn and I will take turns watching you. Do not even think about hurting Liam again." And so I was imprisoned there with Julia and Evelyn as my guards. Meanwhile, Isabella left with Liam to continue their wedding. I spent a long night at Evelyn's apartment. They took turns bringing me food, but I did not touch any of it. I refused to sleep. It would be better to just die like this. Death will be good. I leaned against the windowsill, gazing out with dead eyes. Evelyn finally noticed something was wrong. She gripped my hand, forcing me to meet her gaze. "James, look at me. Do you still recognize me?" I just stared at her silently. A look of panic crossed Julia's face. What is wrong with him? It is like he has locked himself away in his own world. He is trying to destroy himself from the inside out. Evelyn's brow furrowed, and a flicker of genuine concern finally appeared in her eyes. This time, I think James's depression might be real. The next morning, I was rushed to the hospital for a series of comprehensive tests. The final diagnosis was severe depressive disorder. I had been diagnosed with depression before, but back then it was smiling depression. I always put on a happy, optimistic face for everyone. Evelyn knew that. Yet because of Liam's lie, his claim that I had hired people to assault him, she had decided I was faking it all. Now, I lay in a hospital bed, having gone 8 full hours without a sip of water or a bite of food. Julia tried to force-feed me some soup, but I just weakly spat it back out. She grabbed my jaw, furious. James, let us just see how long you can last without eating or drinking. After Julia left, Evelyn came in, trying to coax me with the same gentle tone she had used when we first met. But my heart was already dead inside. I did not hear a word she said. Finally, she smashed a glass on the floor in frustration and gripped my arm tightly. James, do not think you can scare us with this self-destructive behavior. Let me tell you, even if you die, no one will care. I grabbed her hand, my eyes filled with a desperate plea. Then just let me die. I just want to die. I want to escape from all of you. What did you just say? Just then, there was a gasp from the doorway, and Isabella burst in, furious. She stormed over to me. James, I am warning you. Do not you dare try to threaten us with your death. With that, she yanked me out of the bed and shoved me toward the window. Let's see if you have the guts today. Go on, jump from here. Jump. They all thought I was just making empty threats, that I would not actually do something so stupid. But for me, in that moment, death had become the most tempting escape. I shoved her away with all my strength and stumbled onto the windowsill. But just as I was about to leap, she yanked me back inside. Seeing this, Evelyn rushed forward and slapped Isabella across the face. James is really sick. How could you provoke him like that at a time like this? Isabella's eyes widened in disbelief. How is that possible? It was hard for her to accept. After all, when I was trying to win her over, I had been like a ray of sunshine, doing everything I could each day just to see her smile. Back then, she was suffering from kidney failure, completely enveloped in despair. I was the one who stayed by her side through it all, running myself ragged searching for a kidney donor. But a suitable match was impossible to find. In the end, I used my system points to acquire a kidney that was a perfect match for her. It was actually my own kidney. The system just used an item to make it compatible with her body afterward. I donated it to her without a second thought. I will never forget the first thing she said to me after her successful surgery. James, thank you. I promise I will never let you down. But reality proved that a woman's promises could be as light as a feather, easily blown away by the wind. Julia pulled me back onto the bed. Isabella looked at me, and a flicker of pain finally appeared in her eyes. How could you be depressed? I did not answer. I just turned my head to look out the window. I really did not want to face any of them. My heart had long ago frozen solid from the years of daily torment. She moved closer again, placing a hand on my shoulder and forcing me to meet her eyes. James, look at me. You have to be joking, right? Did you pay off the doctor to lie for you to trick us? I found it completely absurd. They always had a reason to believe I was lying. I remember at first I used to try to explain myself. But the more I explained, the more convinced they became that I was lying. Now I could not even be bothered to defend myself. Getting no response from me, Isabella left in a huff. Julia and Evelyn gave up on me soon after. It was for the best. I could finally be free. As night fell and the room was empty, I got up and picked up a fruit knife, ready to end everything. Just then, my mother burst into the room. She quickly snatched the knife from my hand, tears streaming down her face. James, you cannot leave your mother. Do not do anything stupid. Mom, what are you doing here? I noticed how much grayer her hair had become. I had not been home in so long. I felt terrible. Julia said you were sick and told me to come see you. Her voice was choked with sobs. It is a good thing I came. Otherwise, you really would have. Promise me you will not leave me, okay? I could not bear to hurt her, so I nodded. Julia walked in a moment later. When she saw the knife on the floor, her expression turned grim. James, are you really going to throw your life away over a woman? Can you not be more like me and Evelyn? We both like Liam too, but he does not like us, and life has to go on. I did not answer. I just curled up in my mother's arms, savoring the momentary warmth. Worried something would happen, my mother stayed with me the entire night. Having her there made me feel much better. But I knew that in the end, I still had to leave this world. Early the next morning, I sent her out on an errand, saying I was craving my favorite breakfast from a diner across town. Then I quickly bolted the door and climbed onto the windowsill. 3 stories should be high enough. Just then, a passerby spotted me and shouted, "Someone is going to jump. Quick, call 911. At the same time, Julia and Evelyn were pounding on the door. Julia yelled, "James, if you dare to die, I will smash every single one of your precious action figures." I used to love those figures, always asking her to buy them for me and keeping them carefully displayed in my cabinet. But Julia did not know that now my heart was dead. I had no attachment left to anything. Evelyn said, "Have you thought about what will happen to your mother if you die? Mom still has Julia. She will take good care of her." I closed my eyes and jumped. With a sickening thud, I felt a sharp, agonizing pain shoot through my entire body. It felt like every bone had shattered. My vision blurred as screams and chaos erupted around me. Isabella happened to be passing by. When she saw me, her face was a mask of horror as she sprinted toward me. Before this, I had thought dying would be easy. Now I understood just how hard it was. I had jumped from the third floor, but instead of the death I crave, I was left with 2 broken legs and several fractured ribs. Julia was furious. She immediately contacted a psychiatric hospital, planning to have me committed. Evelyn agreed, believing I was beyond help. As for Isabella, she just looked at me with disappointment and said quietly, "James, you have really lost it." They were the same as always, filled with nothing but disgust for me. No matter what happened, they never had a kind word for me. Tears streamed down my face, but I chose silence, unwilling to offer any defense. Just then, my mother rushed into the room. Seeing me like this, she cried so hard she nearly passed out. She asked me why I would do such a thing, and then, overcome with emotion, she fainted and was rushed to the emergency room. I was frantic and wanted to go see her, but Julia stopped me. In the days that followed, they took turns sitting by my bedside in silence, forcing me to eat. I could not fight back. I could only force myself to swallow to stay alive. As my body slowly healed, I realized my fate was sealed. I was going to be sent to a psychiatric hospital. Once I was in there, any thought of suicide would be an impossible dream. For the first time in days, I opened my mouth to speak. Lying in my hospital bed, I gripped Julia's hand and begged, "Julia, I am not crazy. Please do not send me there." When she heard me, a complex expression flickered across her face. Maybe deep down, she still cared about me a little. After all, our familial bond had once reached 85%. I was filled with hope, thinking she might feel sorry for me and change her mind. But in the next moment, she said, "No one ever wants to admit they are sick. We are doing this for your own good." Her words were like a bucket of ice water, shocking me back to reality. In her eyes, I'd already lost the ability to think for myself. I was just a patient who needed to be institutionalized. And so I was imprisoned in a small room, barely 100 square feet. It was stark and empty, with nothing but a cold bed inside. Every day, aside from a nurse who brought my meals, for other stone-faced nurses watched me in shifts. They just stood there silently, as if I were the only living thing in the room. I felt a despair so profound it threatened to break me. The desire to die grew like a weed, but I was trapped by the cruel reality of my situation. I tried to beg the system for help, for release, but all I got was a cold reply. "Host, I am sorry. I cannot directly intervene in matters of your life and death. That is up to you." Those words destroyed my last shred of hope. I lay in bed, and every little movement brought a nurse over to ask if I was okay. Their care was suffocating me. That night, Liam Vance appeared. He quietly dismissed the nurse and approached my bed, his eyes gleaming with triumph. "Feeling hopeless? You cannot even die when you want to," he said, his voice filled with satisfaction. "You know, it was my idea to send you here. This is the only way to make sure you can never escape my control." He went on, as if admiring his own handiwork. I stared at him, my face blank. I had seen this act too many times. I was numb to it. Seeing my lack of reaction, his face darkened. He grabbed my throat, squeezing so hard I could barely breathe. "Do you have any idea how much I hate you?" he said through gritted teeth. "In our original world, you had everything, and I had nothing. Now we meet again in this system, and I have to compete with you for the same targets. I will do anything to win." I froze. How did he know about the original world? Was he a player in this game too? As I was reeling from this, he saw the shock on my face and burst out laughing. "That is right. I am a player too, with the same targets as you. In the original world, I was the one who hit you with my car. The system brought us both here to settle things between us once and for all. Now I'm just one step away from victory. As soon as Isabella tells me she loves me, I will have won completely. I looked at him, and the image of the poor student I had helped back in the original world slowly formed in my mind. It was him. I thought my kindness would earn his gratitude. I never imagined this would be the result. I helped you. Why would you do this to me? I demanded. The smile vanished from his face, replaced by rage and resentment. I did not need your help. That was just charity. We were equals. I did not need your pity. I shook my head, trying to make him understand. I never looked down on you. In my eyes, everyone is unique and deserves respect. But he was not listening. He just laughed manically, cursing me to be trapped here forever, to suffer for all eternity. I looked at his twisted face and felt a deep sense of pity. He had succeeded. I was trapped in a hopeless situation with no escape. I was helpless, left to pace this tiny room day after day. 3 nights later, a woman appeared under the cover of darkness. Taking advantage of a careless nurse, she slipped in through the window, freed me from my cage, and led me to her car. The car's headlights illuminated her face, and I finally recognized her. It was Ava Daniels, a classmate from college in this world, and another one of my failed targets. She had always avoided me and seemed close to Liam, which had led me to give up on her and focus on Isabella instead. Seeing her again now felt like a dream. Her eyes were as gentle as I remembered, the very reason I had chosen her as a target in the first place. "I'm sorry I'm late. I just heard what happened to you," she said, her voice full of apology. "No, I should be thanking you," I thought. "You have given me a chance to finally end all of this." Afterward, she took me to relive some of our old college memories. The laughter of the arcade, the quiet of the movie theater, the thrill of an escape room. Those moments were the only happiness I had felt in years. I secretly bought a bottle of poison, ready to say goodbye to everything. When I tried to say goodbye, she gripped my hand tightly, her eyes filled with tears. "I know what you're planning to do." Her understanding moved me deeply. I think there was someone in this world who understood me so well. I gently hugged her, and the familiar scent of cedar took me back in time. All these years, she had kept using the cologne I had recommended to her. "Thank you, Ava," I said from the bottom of my heart. In the final moments of my life, the person by my side was this woman I had barely known for a month. She took me on the Ferris wheel, and we looked up at the brilliant night sky, sharing secrets we had kept buried for years. She told me she had been alone all these years. She was quietly watching over me from a distance, which was how she found out about my situation so quickly. As I unscrewed the cap of the poison, I asked her, "So, does that mean you like me?" She froze, not answering directly. Instead, she said, "Would it not be nice if there was a world where we were the main characters?" With a smile on my face, I drank the poison and collapsed into her arms. Her tears fell onto my cheek, and I could feel the sincerity of her emotions. I just did not understand why she had avoided me back then. As my consciousness faded, the system's cold voice echoed in my mind. "Host, someone does not wish for you to depart. You cannot be released yet." My soul began to drift away, leaving behind an empty shell of a body. Who was it that so desperately wanted me to stay? As my consciousness returned, I saw that Ava had already called my sister Julia to tell her I was dead. Julia rushed over to find Ava cradling my body. My skin was ashen from malnutrition, my frame gaunt, my collarbones and cheeks hollowed out. How is this possible? Julia's voice was filled with disbelief. She stumbled forward, reaching out to touch me, but pulling back before finally helplessly embracing my cooling body. She screamed at Ava. "Tell me what happened." He was supposed to be in the hospital. Ava's eyes blazed with a mixture of grief and fury. She shot back without hesitation. "You have the nerve to ask? Do you have any idea what it was like for him in there? He lived like a prisoner, with no privacy at all. He was watched even when he showered or went to the bathroom." I was stunned that Ava knew so much about my situation. She had been watching over me all this time. Did that mean she had come to visit me, and I just never knew? Julia lost control, swinging a fist at Ava. I did it for his own good. For his good? That is bullshit. You were torturing him. Ava shot back, her own anger flaring. That was not protection. It was cruel, sadistic torture. The two women exploded with rage, launching into a vicious fight, trading blows. Eventually, my body was brought back to my family's home. Julia knelt before my body, silent tears streaming down her face. My last suicide attempt had put my mother in the hospital. Now seeing my dead body, she collapsed again and was rushed back to the emergency room. I was filled with guilt and helplessness. I did not belong to this world. I could never stay with her. Just then, Evelyn arrived. She was always so calm and collected, but now, faced with my dead body, she crumpled to the floor, her hands trembling as she reached for my cold hand. James, James, she choked out my name, her voice thick with despair and regret. Do not go. Please, open your eyes and look at me. Ava saw this and rounded on Evelyn. Now that he is dead, you decide to care? Where were you before? Where were you when he needed you? You are all pathetic. Evelyn did not argue. She just let her tears fall onto my body. A little later, Isabella arrived. At first, she thought it was just another one of my pranks, a smirk playing on her lips. But then she touched my lifeless hand, and the color drained from her face. She stumbled backward and fell to the floor. Ava, enraged, lunged at Isabella. He is dead, and it is all because of Liam Vance that he ended up like this. Impossible. Isabella, Julia, and Evelyn all denied it in unison. But the doubt in their eyes betrayed them. Ava let out a cold laugh and slammed her phone down on the table. The screen lit up, playing a video. In the video, Liam was giving orders to several men. Assault James. I will give you $500,000 when it is done. The men's sickening smiles filled the screen, followed by footage of my horrific assault. I tried to remember, but all I could feel was endless humiliation and despair. The memory was a knife twisting in my heart over and over again. I had been the victim, but no one had believed me. Only a stranger had offered me a sliver of comfort. The video played on, and the horrific images made me clench my jaw, my eyes burning. I never imagined the truth would come out like this, and I never expected Ava to fight so hard to clear my name. But Isabella lunged forward, trying to destroy the phone. Ava's furious voice echoed through the room. Do you see now? This is the man you all worshipped. You believed every word he said, but you never believed that James was innocent. He was the one who had James assaulted. Ava's voice was filled with rage and frustration. When James came to you for help, what did you do? The room fell silent. Julia, Evelyn, and Isabella were all speechless. They remembered it all clearly. Liam twisting the truth, framing me, and how they had treated me. Julia had beaten me. Evelyn had abandoned me. And Isabella had cursed me. This is the truth, Ava said, each word landing like a hammer blow. Every single one of you owes James his life. With a thud, Julia fell to her knees in front of my body. Her voice choked with sobs. I am sorry. Your sister did not know. I really did not know. Oh, so now you remember you were his sister? Ava sneered. Did you forget that you were the one who had him committed? Ava's voice was laced with fury as her gaze swept over Evelyn and Isabella. And you, Evelyn, as his doctor, you should have understood him better than anyone. But you and Julia just decided he was crazy. And you, Isabella, James was your rock during the hardest time of your life. He even gave you his kidney. But instead of being grateful, you turned around and married another man. Do any of you have a conscience? Ava's words were like a scalpel, dissecting their guilt and laying bare the debt they had owed me for over a decade. Finally, I saw it on their faces, a guilt and pain so profound they could not hide it. I did not know how Ava knew so many of my secrets, but I was incredibly grateful to her. She had not only given me my release, but she had also cleared my name after I was gone, allowing me to witness their regret. That day, none of the women who had played such a significant role in my life left my side. Each of them, in their own way, tried to atone for the pain they had caused me. Julia brought all my old action figures, asking which one was my favorite. Evelyn unrolled a painting we had made together, reminiscing about our time together. Isabella held my hand, tears in her eyes, begging me to forgive her and come back to her. And Ava silently arranged my funeral. She did not seem outwardly sad, but I knew she was in more pain than any of them. The deepest grief is often the quietest. Taking the opportunity, my spirit drifted to the hospital to see my mother, who had just stabilized. She was demanding to see me, but the doctors refused, saying her condition was too fragile. I drifted closer to her and whispered, "Mom, please take care of yourself. I will be with you in the next life." I thought she could not hear me, but she looked in my direction, tears rolling down her cheeks, and whispered back, "I know, James. You take care of yourself over there, too." The day of the funeral was bright and sunny, but nothing could dispel the gloom. Everyone was dressed in black, their faces grim. Julia clutched my urn, walking step by step toward my grave. "James, I hope you are happy in the next life. Remember to eat well." Isabella and Evelyn followed close behind, staring silently at my photograph. Suddenly, I realized Ava was gone. A pang of disappointment hit me. But just as the service was ending, she reappeared, dragging a bound and gagged Liam Vance with her. "Julia, are you ready?" Ava's voice was low and steady. Julia nodded. Hidden beneath her coat was a homemade bomb. "Today, everyone who wronged my brother will pay the price." Ava kicked Liam to the ground, her eyes filled with a terrifying resolve. "All of you can just die." She had planned this all for me, for my revenge. "Ava, how could you be so foolish? Was it really worth it for me?" Liam struggled to get away, but it was too late. Ava and Julia pulled the detonator cords at the same time. With a deafening boom, a fireball erupted, consuming everything. "No!" I screamed, but no one could hear me. Ava was innocent. Why did she have to suffer for my sake? Congratulations, host. In the final moment of your life, you have achieved 100% affection from Isabella Russo, Evelyn Reynolds, and Ava Daniels, as well as 100% familial affection from Julia Harris. Your mission is complete. You will now be resurrected in your original world. The system's voice echoed in my head, but I felt no joy, only a vast, empty grief. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in a hospital bed. A nurse quietly informed me that Liam Vance, the other person in the car crash, had not survived. Also, a girl named Ava Daniels. She survived as well. Just as the nurse finished speaking, I saw Ava walk slowly into my room on crutches, a small smile on her face. "James," she said, "this time, we finally get to be the main characters in our own story." She came closer, her eyes shining. I pulled her into a tight hug, silent tears streaming down my face. In the days that followed, Ava told me everything. It turned out we had gone to the same college, and she had been quietly watching me from afar the whole time. When she found out what Liam was planning, she decided to intervene. That day, she had tried to cut him off with her own car, but she could not prevent the crash. While she was in a coma, Ava had also encountered the system. It told her that if she could make me fall in love with her, she could return to the real world. The system also told her about my mission to win over one of 4 targets to survive. And Ava was shocked to discover she was one of them. Ava was torn. She wanted me to choose her so we could both complete our missions. But she was afraid it would put me in even more danger from Liam. If I succeeded in winning her over, her mission would also be complete. So she deliberately kept her distance, even pretending to be close to Liam just to lower the chances of me choosing her as a target. But when she saw me being framed by Liam and misunderstood by Julia, Evelyn, and Isabella, she could not stand by and do nothing anymore. She secretly gathered evidence while sending me anonymous messages of encouragement, hoping I would keep fighting. Finally, when I was at my lowest point, locked away in that hospital, Ava risked everything to get me out. She knew I had no other options, that I would choose to end my life to escape that world. So she begged the system to let me see the remorse of the people who had hurt me before I died. Amid the roar of the explosion, the system declared her victory. "Congratulations, host. Mission successful. You have obtained 100% affection from James Harris. As James has also completed his mission and holds 100% affection for you, you will both be returned to your original world." Hearing all this, I leaned in and kissed her. "Thank you," I said softly, "for choosing me. Both in that world and in this one. Ava, I love you." "I love you too," she whispered, holding me tight. Our two hearts beating as one. We knew that as long as we had each other, we could face anything that came our way. Because love is the most powerful force of all. James had spent 25 years of humility proving one thing. To those who do not love you, your salvation is just a performance, and your death is nothing but an inconvenience. Those belated displays of affection, after the heart has already died, are truly worth less than weeds. Do not lose yourself anymore just to be someone else's supporting character. Go and love the one who catches you when you fall into the abyss. Reality has no restart button. Do not wait until you have pushed the person who only has eyes for you to the very edge before you finally learn to cherish them. If it were you, would you forgive those who destroyed you with their own hands, only to weep at your grave and beg you to return?